August 29th, 2016. Do you know where you were? Well, depending on where you were, you might have been watching the review of the Audio-Technica M40Xs. That's when that video came out. August 2016. And these have stayed on my wall that entire time. Actually, I don't even know if there was a wall back then. I have the video open. What was actually like going... No, there was no wall. There was a wall behind me with speakers lined up on it, which I thought looked cool. But there was not even a wall. So sometime after that, which I want to point out that the wallpaper in that video, linked in the description, the entire video is in the description, were slightly bigger than hers. And there's a reason for that. Everything has a reason. Because it's been a long time since I've found something that could possibly compete with the M40Xs. Like, I found a bunch, let's just face it, I found a bunch of quality closed-back cans. Civica 006, MH751s, CB1s. The list is so massive, I can't even, please don't make me remember it. I just want to focus. Because I bought these, and these are the Yamaha HPH-MT5s, after my Sennheiser HC280 Pro review. I did the 280 Pro review. They're $100. And I read through the comments of every video as they come out. And one person was like, dude, HC280s are trash. You got to get the HC300s. So I did, and they're back there. And after I'm done with this review, I'm going to clean everything up and then do a HC300 review. But that goes from $100 to $200. And then other people were like, nah, man, those are trash. You got to get the MT5s. So I did. I bought both. Well, I read the comments, and if someone says no, and that person's comment gets enough upvotes, obviously there's some sort of community around whatever headphone they're recommending, and I should check it out. So I took time out of my busy schedule to spend Patreon money, spend Subscribestar money, and then listen. Now, I was originally going to compare the 280 Pros to the MT5s, because they're literally in the same category of monitoring headphone, studio monitor headphone. These do not claim as much of like a sound dampening as the 280 Pros do, but they're $20 apart, and they're both pretty well-known brands, and they both have the similar design features as far as folding and everything, and that was going to be the review. But I sat here, and stock MT5s versus stock Sennheiser 280 Pros, the 280 Pros win. Period. End of thing. I was going to change it to a 02 wallpaper because, you know, good effort, but you failed. And then it dawned on me. These. So, okay, these lose straight up stock pads. These are the stock pads for the MT5s. They are squares. I don't hate them stock pads. I don't hate the feel stock pads. I don't even hate the sound stock pads. The problem comes when you compare them directly to something like the 280 Pros, and then you're like, oh, that's why those. And then those on a tube are just like the most fun you could have. So I'm like, all right, so maybe the MT5s don't win. But you know what? The M40Xs, they were fucking losers too. You were a fucking loser. M50s was bad, but M40s was like, wait, there's something to this sound, but they still suck to wear. The pads for the M40Xs, the stock pads, were horrendous. So I went on that journey, and I didn't have much to journey. Today, the journey is more journeyful. I have way more pads. And I'm like, okay. I put these big. These are the ZMF oval cowhides. And from 2016 to 2020, for this sort of pad shape, what do I pull out? Well, I pull out the ZMF oval lambskins, because those are the cowhides, and these, which are the ZMF oval suedes, because I wanted to try to make M40Xs at least compete with something. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. That's fun. That's always fun when things go ba-dung-da-dung-da-dung while I'm doing things. Now you sleep. So, sitting here, stock pads, tube amp, solid state, this, that, just those for fun. And I even tried, these giant XL gels, just because the Brainwaves XL pads are more readily available than the ZMF ones and way cheaper. Didn't do it for me. And then I started listening to the M40Xs. That's when I brought them down off the wall, and I'm like, okay, let's see if these hold up. Fucking yes, they hold up. You can consider this review a review of the Yamaha MT5s, but a re-review of the M40Xs. Because I am sitting here, and I am just swapping back and forth between amps and tubes and DACs and wondering, is it time to take you off the wall? No, but I don't know how two headphones could be so similar in their design and purpose. Both studio monitors, both use like 40mm drivers, they're not full 50s. Both the exact same price, $80. Have been forever. And when I go and I put them on the same amp with the same music, I'll put the music back up. Some music, I have these Yamahas on, and I'm like, oh, these are the fucking clear winner. Clear winner. These are the clear winner. I had Billy Joel's Last Play at Shea. Huge live stadium. I was at the Last Play at Shea, by the way, the third day. So the actual Last Play at Shea. And the crowd was buzzing, and I was like, whoa, the detail. And these sounded a little bit too close and not as, not as fun and aggressive and wide. Fun and unaggressive and wide. Just, these were a little more focused and these were more laid back. And I'm like, that's perfect. Then I switched to another song, and it's a lounge singer or something, and it's much clearer vocals on the 40Xs. And on these, it sort of sounds a little bit pulled away. Oh, and the reason I went with a suede versus the lambskin, which would have been more direct competition, was the bass got so insane with the lambskin on these Yamahas. Like, the bass is solid on the M40Xs with the cowhide, solid, but it's never in your face. It never gets in the way of the music. With the solid pads, more space, adding that much volume, it was too much. So that's what you go with, a more airy, more less visceral pad, more viscous pad. I don't know, speaking words. Just look at the wallpaper when you get bored. It's just fine. I'll move that for you. So I'm gonna put these back on. We're now back to solid state versus solid state. The tubes can sit there for a second. Like that's Ada, A-I-D-A, Celesta Ada. Like, I don't know why his name's in it. Let's back that up to the exact same moment. We'll put this on. We have the exact same amps and the exact same DAC, the exact same power levels too. And it sounds more artificial with these. Now that could be because it's using a solid pad versus this open pad, but I know when I played with this, and I know if I swapped it, it would lack. This has just the right amount of bass with these pads. You need these pads. And this needs just the right amount of bass with these pads, So we are officially matched. This is a fucking fight for the ages. Because you're looking at sub $100 headphones that if you change the wire, in case you didn't guess, by the way, this is not the wire the Yamaha comes with. This is a Periapt cable, one of the original ones that they sent me. I will link to periapt.com or periaptcables.com. This is probably worth as much as the headphones. Just saying. But I have good reason for not using the stock cable. Here's the bag that comes with the Yamahas. And here is a stock cable, completely unopened, because I was like, fuck you. The janks will be endless. My day will be janked, and our sadness will be eternal. It's not a terrible cable on the ends. Like, it uses the 2.5mm lock, and this has got a nice flared bit, so you can actually pull it out. I don't know why more 1/4 inch. I keep doing this to this plug, and I keep yanking on the spring, because it just slides off. Why would you taper down, taper up? This is a great idea. It's a great idea to taper up your plug. Everybody, taper up your plugs. And you know, it's got strain relief, and the wire doesn't feel so bad, although it's a little bit janked here, and it's not even part of this fuck bundle. So, no. I knew when I took these out of the box in the unboxing that I just went, nope. Nope. That's wrap that shit up. Throw that on the floor. We're never using that again. I have Periapt cables that'll fit this. So, boom. Beautiful. Bellissimo. Yeah, vibrate all you want. you bitch. All right. Now that said, that these sound better with Ada. Ada, big, open, Italian singer in a chamber. And now this, Devilman Crybaby, her baton. I mean, I'm noticing little, like... I'm liking this one better still. Okay, Postmodern Jukebox, Anaconda. Doesn't sound bad on these. Female vocals. Now it's clearer on this, clearer, but closer. And this just has this little bit of like a nasalness to it. I think the pads are just so big that it's adding like a reverb effect inside the headphone. So what that means is I don't know which one I like more, and that's the point of this review. I can now recommend either M40Xs, which have stood the test of fucking time. Even Metal 571, Metal hasn't done reviews in a while, but even my 571, I think he's gone back. When he came here to visit, knew that the M40Xs existed. He had tried them previously. They sucked. I made him wear them, and he put them up and went, "My God, man, what did you do?" And I'm just like, pads. Like, oh my God, oh my God. Like he, oh my God, at the M40Xs, they stay on my wall. It's the reason they're on my wall. But it's 2020 and it's time to start looking at my wall and really assessing. There will be, by the way, people have requested it. There will be a video about my wall and the updates that have happened in the past. I think it's been over a year because there are new additions and there might be some subtractions. I don't know. Or I might just add a third shelf and say, fuck it, because there's ugly parts of the wall and that's the best way to clean it up is just add another shelf. Add another shelf. Just see us. Why haven't you added another shelf? So, these, I should probably talk about them with the stock pads. I'm going to talk about them with the stock pads. I'm going to talk about them with the stock pads. They're an average set of studio monitors. They're not as bad as M50s. They don't hurt. They probably don't show as much potential in sound as the M40Xs did. They're very clean. They're very clean. They're very neutral. They're a little bit boring. They're a little bit stuffy. And it was like, it took me like literally 27 seconds to go, God, I wonder what it'll be like with different pads. But I avoided that. I kept using them. I used them. I was put them against the 280 Pros, and I was like, those are better. If you're doing actual monitoring, the Yamahas are more comfortable than the Sennheisers because they have a much better build. I should probably look at the actual headphone for a bit. So one piece, solid design. They have a crazy shaped pad, but it's a normal slot. This is your folding mechanisms here and here. Obviously these pads are gigantic. Metal slide here, doesn't click. We have an exposed cable that goes from the left to the right on both sides, or from the right to the left, depending on how you're looking at it. The headband says Yamaha. Yamaha, and it's got a very thick padding here. Very thick padding, actually. And they feel, I'd call these better built than the Audio-Technicas. Like, they're not fucking all made of metal, but like this here, this is rubber to cover whatever the screw design that is used to hold this. There's an aluminum circle on the front. The hinge system goes through, and there's a rubber cap over the back. It says made in Taiwan. Where are you made? I forget where you're made. Taiwan. Holy shit! It's a Taiwanese standoff. So these just slide up and down. You got your exposed wires. These are nothing to laugh at either. These do fold flat, however, like that. These will go that way. And these will not. They will just twist like that. And the twists happen here. You can see the metal insert. So, I mean, these are going to fold this way. These are going to fold this way or this way. So that's 1 point for the Audio-Technica. I gotta give it to them. But this padding up here is pretty lackluster. Like it's, you could see this stitch. Oof. It can do that too. It could just fall down like it's a broken dead. I wouldn't bet that pad on a broke dick dog. This is not the best as far as padding goes. It looks real thick. This is all solid, or the padding is on top, for some fucking reason. Stop doing, whatever it's doing is bad. Cease. There we go. It's been a while since I've had these off the block and actually had to manipulate them in my hands. Because you don't really, like, at my current stage of headphone obsession, M40Xs don't really, like, grab me to, like, pull them off the wall. But I'm glad I had to for this. I'm glad I had to compare them. Because there are still some things where these just fucking shine. In fact, I'm going to try to find them. No, too bright. Weird Al, oh my god. Ode to a Superhero. Which is the exact same opening as Billy Joel, so... Alright, definitely more mid-tones, mid-bass in the Yamahas. Whereas I feel like these are a bit sharper, just overall, especially in the vocals, male vocals here. I'm getting, it's almost a little bit of this, a little bit of this. I'm trying to prepare you in case you get this exact combo. You know, if I push them in a little bit, if I squeeze the pads down, doesn't really affect the vocal tonality. That's so, I don't remember him doing a Billy Joel parody. I love Billy Joel and I love Weird Al, and Pasta hates Weird Al. She's not really popular with Billy Joel. But I mean, this is, if you haven't heard Weird Al's Ode to a Superhero, please whip that shit out. I don't know. I don't know which one I prefer, because there are some variations. There's some songs that I could just tell that this is not what it's supposed to do. This headphone is not supposed to be doing this. And there's some songs on these that, knowing what I know now about the Civica 006 and the MH751s, that I know there are other alternatives that may not be as wide, because again, we're adding fucking monster pads to these, which have remained as stiff as they have ever been, which was the reason I put them on, was to add just physical width. Some 80s hair metal with some Lion. Lion, Never Surrender, yeah! From the Wraith soundtrack. Ah, fuck. I'm enjoying the Yamahas more for a lot of these things. Are we witnessing the death of the M40Xs? I don't want to do this because there's so many people. I was at Can Jam literally yesterday, and people were shaking my hand and telling me how much money I cost them, which is apparently a universal trend that everyone seems to enjoy. Like, oh, you cost me so much money. Like, and then they're like, can't wait for your next review. Like, just go away. Leave. I don't want to cause poverty. Do not to make me cause poverty. But on the same hand, many people literally said the M40X is what got them into me. So the fact that I'm sitting here, that wallpaper, and you could see these, just like look at them and go, ooh, those look interesting. I should show you under the pad, even though it's a pain in the dick to put these pads back on. 40 millimeter drop. I'm assuming it's 40. I literally didn't look up the specs, but I've done this for a while, so I'm looking at a 40. I don't know what these pieces of foam are for. I don't know if there's something underneath them. We've got two little felt inserts there, 3 holes there, 3 holes there. We've got the driver not just on an angle back, but on an angle up and back, which I've not seen. And then another piece of felt for bleeding sound from the back side of the driver forward. And you just boom, you boom. Here's what they look like with the normal ones. Right before this review, I sort of had the itch. I'm a guy that when he gets an itch, he scratches it. All right, even in public, even if it's disgusting. Ignore me. Ignore me and my scratching. So I went to look it up on Amazon to make sure I had, the price right, and if there was terrible reviews, I'd like to peruse them for anything that might break in the future. And I noticed that the MT5s are the bottom of the line, which makes sense. They're 80 bucks. You can't really get much cheaper than that. Audio fucking Technica. Hey, Audio Technica. Why does the 30 and the 20 exist? How cheap you going? Literally, I bought the Audio Technica M40x and the M20x. And I threw them away. I didn't even return them. I had them, I used them, I tried to pad sort them, I let them sit in the thing, the return window expired, and then I threw them in the garbage. So, the 40s, magical, once you change the pads. 50s, go check out my review of the 50s. If you're a new subscriber, you don't know about the controversy that made me popular. It was me shitting on the M50X. M60s, the little on-ears, praised the hell out of them. M70s, knives. Just fucking knives in your ears. No. So, I mean, Yamaha comes out with the MT5s, and I'm like, ooh. They also apparently came in white or black, and I chose black out of just because I didn't read. But you can get them in white or black. And now they also have the MT7 and the MT8. Now, the MT7 in black is 150 bucks. But I'm Zeos, and if I'm going to try the version up from this to see if it's great, I'm going to get the white ones because I want to get some style. $170. As you can see, you purchased this item on February 17th, 2020, which is today, which you should be hitting the Patreon and Subscribe Star on the 18th, and then going public sometime next week. That's how this works, by the way. If you want to support this channel, Patreon and Subscribe Star get you to see the videos early. If there's a rush, there's only like 3 of those left in stock. I don't know how many of the 5s. And apparently the 8s don't come in white, which is bullshit. And it looks like they're using the same picture of the 5s. Like, at least the difference between the 5s and 7s, it goes from this oval to a giant round looking pad. Like there's that's the 7s? Wait, no, that's not the 7s. There, that's the 7s. I'm interested. You've got my attention. Okay, take this, now make it that big, and then I can put the big pads on it. If I'm trying, I want to love these by default, and I had to do this pad swap to love them. And then you go to the 8s, and the 8s look exactly like the 5s, like to the letter, like the 5s, except this headband piece is slightly different. It's got 3 sections instead of 2. So, I mean, depending on how amazing the 7s turn out, I might purchase the 8s as well, because this is what the support of this channel is for. So you go to Patreon, you go to Subscribe Star, you join up. I take that money and I shovel it back out there. Oh, I probably should mention, I haven't worked out all the details, but I've had those higher end tiers, 15, 30, I think there's like 100. There's a $150 tier, which I might just jump straight to that. But those tiers are going to have benefits soon that everyone's going to be very interested in, especially people who want to try a lot of headphones. So I'll just keep an eye or ear out. I'll be tweeting and Instagramming. I'll probably make a whole video when I announce it finally. I got to work out some details. Details. Excellent. I think I like these more than the M40Xs. With this pad mod. The cable obviously doesn't really make a difference. I'm not a believer in that, though. This cable's got silver core, 8 air-filled, magnesium magnet cores. I don't care. I just want a nice cable. It's the one thing you're going to interact with your headphones. Your headphones go in your head, you don't see them. You feel them, but you don't really see them. The cable has to sort of get from somewhere to somewhere, and if it's shit, you're going to know it. Like, this is not the stock M40X cable. This was like a $12 cable on Amazon. And this actual cable will work. I think it's the exact same connector. Let's, oh God, I'm doing things. Yep, there you go. Wait, gotta lock it. Boom. So we could swap this around. Give the old Betty here. So, I mean, they were both made in Taiwan. They both use the same thing. Did I miss something? Does Audio Technica own Yamaha? Is that a thing? Are they all Gibson brand? I don't get it. But I will say this, these are still remarkable headphones. And I understand everyone who's gotten them, and it opened your world to new things. But 2020, starting in 2020, if someone says, hey, I have this much money, and I want a headphone, and don't mind modding it a little bit or spending a little more, as an under $200 rule, for fun, for fun. Monitoring, stop looking at these for monitoring, for actual work, and go to the 280 Pros. If you've got a tube amp, this does not benefit from a tube amp. I've tried. This does not benefit from a tube amp. This does not benefit from a tube amp. 280 Pros are actually the better buy all around because you get better sound quality by default because Neumann joined the Sennheiser family and they said, fuck this, we'll fix your shit. Boom. And also tube joy. But I would not change the pads in the 280 Pros. They are a very specific build with very specific reasons that cut everything out. And once you put tubes in, then you don't need the wider sound stage via physicality. My next review, like literally I'm going to clean this desk up, and in 24 minutes from this moment, doing the 300 review, where I compare the 280 to the 300, where I basically say the 300 is better than the 280, but it's double the price, so it makes sense. We'll get to it. Right now, I'm telling you, if you have in your shopping cart, this is the only time it matters. If you already own M40Xs, you're fine. Don't worry. Don't concern yourself. They're still great. But if you haven't bought them yet and you're thinking about it, MT5s with, $70 pads. I don't even know what these pads cost. You could also not buy these pads. A lot of times people were buying those and couldn't get the ZMF ovals. They would just buy brainwaves. You can get, I will link in the description if I can find them, brainwaves oval pads. Because you need an oval pad because it's fucking square and ovals are closer to squares and circles. And you could put these on your head and you could just go, ooh, ooh, this is nice. That's all I want. These are, I'm looking for the good, cheap, moddable, down-to-earth, $150 or less headphone. That's it. That's it now. They're still good, but it's 2020, and I think I like a lot of things this do better. It's more bass, more warmth, more relaxation. Sold. And that's it. So like I said, Patreon, subscribe, start support this channel. Wallpapers available in every description. If you go to the description to the video of the Audio-Technica, the description of that video has got the wallpaper. If you want to get all the wallpapers I've ever used since the beginning of this channel, Patreon and Subscribe Star both have access to that when you join them. Links to sound demo for this, which is completed on the stock pads, I want to point out. Because I did the sound demo already. Because I wanted to compare it directly to the 280 Pros, so you're gonna have to just take my fucking word on it that when you put the pads on it, it does get bigger, wider, bassier. I know, it's tough. I'm a piece of shit, but I've already done the sound demo, I'm not redoing it. If enough people beg on Patreon or Subscribe Star for me to redo the sound demo with the bigger pads, I'll do it. What else I got to link? Talk about hi-fi guides? Hi-fi guides? Oh, how about Axpona? I'm gonna start advertising it slowly, and then I'll probably do another dedicated video. I have been asked with DMS to do the budget audiophile room at Axpona this year, which is only 2 months away from like this moment, or a month and a half away. And we're not going to do a GoFundMe. They've actually comped us the room, which is nice, but they have not comped us the flights, and they have not comped us all the equipment we have to put in and all the work. So there might be a bunch of things to sell. Like companies have offered us things that might give us 5 of, and I'll either yard sale them and put the money towards Axpona's flight stuff, or we'll sell them in the room for people who are there. But yeah, there'll be a whole video announcing that. I'm just spurting it out here because I'm actually hot. It's fucking February. Why am I hot? Well, that's why. I just figured it out. Anyway, that's it for today. Sound demo. Consider these over these, but if you have these already, you basically would just be getting another flavor of them. I just